What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am so excited to bring you guys this roundup. Easily, I have somewhere over 30 items here to talk to you guys about, and this is going to be spanning from base to lips to cheeks to miscellaneous to lips, everything and anything in between. I have already prepared before sitting down, so I have all of the items grouped into these little baskets so that hopefully I don't miss any items. I talk about all the items within their respective categories, and as I always like to do, I will kind of give you guys my top favorites of the products in their respective categories. But if you have not watched these, I do quite a bit of product roundups. It does take me quite a bit of time to get back to you guys, but once I am decided in my decision, I'm pretty solidified in it. So in the event that you are interested in hearing about over 30 items that I have to talk to you guys about, let's get into it. Now, if you're wondering what's going on with my makeup, I did film parts of it, specifically the lip application and the eyeshadow tutorial. The eyeshadow tutorial is using the Game Beauty Geo palette again, so I will be having this tutorial as a short at some point. I'm not confident on, when that's going to be happening. A lot of things are going on in the life and just kind of mentally starting to prepare myself for Swagmas. So please do be kind, but eventually I will have both videos up and I will link them down below. I'm not positive if they're going to be a short here on YouTube because YouTube uploading is a tinge bit weird for me when it comes to shorts, but I will definitely have them as Instagram. Okay, I've talked too much about that. Let's just dive on in. Every item that I discuss in this video will be listed and linked down below, and if there are shades, I will have that down below as well. And this is a lot, so there will be a pinned comment to kind of do the roundup. Let's dive into the base products first. So as I like to do, I like to start off with all of the primers, and then I'll go to foundations, concealers, powders, all of that. And for this roundup, I have 3 primers that I want to talk about. 2 I picked up from Yes Style, and 1 I actually got as a sample. So I'll go ahead and start with the sample first. This is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Glow Serum. What I will say is I think that this is a little bit more appropriate for combination skin types. If you want something that is shiny, especially if you, like me, got her glow oil when she first released it, I just don't think that that is necessarily appropriate in the way that I apply primers. And this is a primer or a serum that I like to use as a primer. This does give a nice kind of sheen to the base, but it's not as dry as her oil is. I find that there's a little kind of moisture payoff on this product. That said, this is not going to be something that I personally pick up. I think that it just gives a tinge bit too much radiance under my products. And as I feel foundations have really revolutionized, I don't find that I need to personally go to a primer to get this type of sheen. This is just a tinge bit too much, which is very unique, seeing as there is another product that is pretty much the same thing. It might be the undertone to this. So this product specifically has quite I would say a bronzy undertone, and depending on the quantity that you're applying, it may actually alter your skin tone slightly. And I don't want it to seem as though, I'm gonna come out here looking like I'm 10 shades darker. I'm not, but as I've really been more critical to undertones and just shade matching in general, I just find that this just does enough that I don't particularly love using it. But I do think that this could be great for somebody who is of a darker skin tone than mine, and then also just somebody who likes to mix with their actual foundations. I believe, to me, using this as a base, it's a little bit too jarring. But if you're mixing it with the foundation to make it look a little bit more radiant because you have a matte foundation, that could be a route. Just for me, that is just a bit too much. I am talking too much. Okay, Himish, they have an Artless Glow base. This is something that has SPF, and I've been using this more or less since Asian Pacific Islander month. I love this product. I think because this product is of a lighter tint, this is definitely more on the white coloring side. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that this is something that alters my shade. Although I will say I have used this in conjunction with a darker foundation. For example, this is my By Mario Surreal Skin Foundation in the shade 25W. I have mixed these two together and I have really enjoyed the effects purely because this is a lighter shade. So it will kind of lighten up that product, but it also, even though it is a glowy product, it dries down matte. I think this is like a more kind of combination skin approved version, and even honestly oily approved glowy base product. I just find that this, although it gives me the glow, it very much so allows my skin to stay matte, and I don't find that my oils project out of my, base products or whatever unnecessarily more than they do prior. So this is definitely something I enjoy, and I will definitely, obviously get my use out of this. Will I repurchase? I don't know, but I definitely do enjoy that. And then this is the Peach Sea Glow Base Makeup Base. This is, I would say, definitely a lot less glowy. So if you're somebody who kind of, you've tried the Danessa Myricks, and I will say the Himish is definitely on the Danessa Myricks realm of glow. It's just a different undertone and a different shade. So it just kind of works a little bit better for how I apply makeup right now. This is definitely a lot less glow than both of these. I would say this has like a dollop of sheen compared to, the base. This definitely, in my opinion, is just a basic base. There's nothing great about it. I wouldn't say it right homes at all, but if you're somebody who just doesn't want too much more glow added, but you want a very, very subtle amount, then this might be the route for you. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but it is an option. If I had to recommend one out of all three of these primers, I honestly would recommend the Himish. I just prefer it personally for me, like I said, in the way that I am applying makeup. Let's get into the foundation products, and let's hope I don't talk nearly as much. Coming in with this one. So this is another product that I've been testing out more or less since Asian Pacific Islander month. This is the Cica Clearing BB Cream from Purito. I have this in the shade 31 Deep Warm. This is way too warm. Absolutely way too warm. It looks tragic on me. I hate the foundation match. So, if you're somebody who is of a similar skin shade to me, and I always have my best shade matches on foundations down below, absolutely would not recommend this at all. I do not like this shade, and I want to say that this is the only kind of deep shade in the range, which is why I picked it up. The last roundup previously I did recommend, it was another Himish product. I really liked that foundation, and it had a better match, and I honestly liked the product overall. So if you're somebody who really wants a Yes style foundation, I would highly recommend you either check out that specific product or just check out that particular video for that product, because it was a lot better. I really don't like this. I don't like the application. I really don't like anything about this. I find that it breaks up on my skin. There's no longevity. I don't like it. Easily could be something that gets decluttered in the upcoming months. Then we have this baby. This is the NYX Bear With Me Blur in the shade 22 Mocha. I was very, very eager to try this over the summer because I really wanted a skin tint type product that I thought could just work. And I picked this up because other YouTubers that, have similar preferences to me had recommended this. This was their favorite. This is too matte for me. Way too matte for me. I felt like I was kind of suffocating compared to how I've just gotten so used to more skin-like finishes. And so I do not like this personally. This is a terrible shade match. Absolute terrible shade match. I kind of knew going in that this would be slightly too deep, but this is ridiculously too deep. I think this is even deeper than the Makeup by Mario foundation, if we're really kind of giving you the scale of how bad this is on my skin tone. I don't unfortunately like anything about this. Once again, this is just a preference. I think overall the product is nice. This does give quite a bit of coverage, but then once again, because this is so off, it might not be really giving too much coverage. It just might be how jarring it is on me. Don't like it. I tried it with a sponge. I tried it with a brush. I tried it mixing in with other kind of glowier bases. It dries down matte because that's the product's intention. So not a huge fan. Youthforia, I was really excited for this particular skin tint because they claimed that this is supposed to give glass-like skin. This is in the shade 450, and unfortunately for, you know, this particular roundup, this is the best product that I'm going to be talking about. I do prefer this finish, and the shade match isn't terrible. I figured, let me just go ahead and show you guys all of the shade matches, because, you know, saying that they work and they don't work is one thing, but showing you them really is helpful. So this is the Youthforia in 450. The undertone is a bit too warm for me. I want to say that they classify this as a golden undertone. I am clearly not golden in their shade range. Okay, my camera just died, battery just died, but I did go ahead and just swatch all three just so that it's easier for us. So this one is the Youthforia in 450. This one is the NYX in 22 Mocha, and this one is in the Purito in the 31 Deep Warm. None of them actually match me. Not great. This one pulls way too yellow on my skin. This one is extremely dark, and this one is just extremely orange on my skin and based on my undertones. So that, honestly, I will say, if you don't find the right match or something that is actually kind of workable, it can be hard and sometimes can really be the determining factor on why you hate a product. And once you find the product in the right shade, you can sometimes like it. I feel as though my opinions on these products are truly based on the formulations though, because if something's going to break up with on my skin in about 3 hours, why would I like that? And if something is too dry and too mattifying for how I like my foundations, why would I get a new shade? And for this is just okay. It's okay. I think it's fine. I think it's pretty much like any other kind of light to medium coverage foundation. I don't know why they claim this is a skin tint. To me, I don't get skin tint vibes from this. It's fine. You know, like I said, unfortunately for this roundup, this is the best foundation-ish product that I have to talk to you guys about. But by no means would I say go run to pick this up, especially for the price. I want to say that was $54, and yeah, I definitely would not recommend you guys spend $54 on that product. Okay, I have two concealers to talk about, and these are two of like the bigger products to release when it comes to the concealer category. I have the Haus Labs and the Tower 28. Now, I've done multiple shorts on both products. I want to say I did a short on both separately, and then I did a short showcasing them both side by side. And I will go ahead and swatch them again. I'm sure I swatched them multiple times, but just so that you guys know. And I did a video on the concealer. Anyways, the Haus Labs is in 40 medium deep, and then the Tower 28 is in the shade 14, if memory serves me correctly, 14 PV. I always forget the bottom label is just terrible on that. Now, these products are different textures. The Haus Labs is definitely a lot creamier and thicker, especially when you're considering, like I said in the review, that foundation. I just would not have expected such a creamy, thick product. And the Tower 28 is very serum-like. I don't have the Tower 28 foundation, so I can't really compare it based on that. I think both of the undertones here are fine. You can generally work around an undertone, at least in my opinion, on a concealer, as long as the actual shade is good. The shade can really be the killer when it comes to concealers. I think that these are both good concealers, but they are potentially for two different people. So they both kind of give a skin-like finish, but like I said, this is a thicker concealer. So if you have more fine lines on your under eyes, or if you just have heavier bags, something like this I think would just be too much, and it would just cause everything to cake up in this area. Whereas the Tower 28, although like I said, gives you that skin-like finish, I find that because it's more serum-like, it can just adjust and just balance a little bit more, and it's thinner, so you're just not going to have to deal with such heaviness on those under eyes. And so that's just better for like a older eye, or just somebody who has more fine lines. I tend to have more fine lines, and if we're talking about which one do I think I'm going to reach for the most, I do think I'm going to reach for the Tower 28, just because this is the type of formulation that I tend to prefer. If I'm looking at some of my more favorite concealers, a lot of the Sephora brand concealers I actually genuinely enjoy, and they have very similar formulations, whereas some of the formulations that over time I just grow to detest are actually more like the House Labs, because the formula is just so thick. That said, the House Labs does not feel thick in the blend out, it's just the application. And like I said, depending on your under eyes, this I think would be the one concealer that could potentially not work for more people. Another thing I do want to mention really quickly from the Tower 28 is that this is actually a concealer I think that is very nice for somebody who doesn't like to wear foundation at all, but just wants to conceal under their under eyes, or just conceal around their face a little bit. And I did showcase that in my shorts. So I hope that was thorough enough. If I had to choose between this and the House Labs, I would choose this, just because I think overall it's a better formula for the masses, and it would just be more easily liked. I will say, like again, they both have a skin-like finish, although this one is slightly more, I wouldn't say sheeny, but more of a satinish finish. It is not a full-on satin, it's just closer to a satin finish. I have only one powder to talk to you guys about today, and this is the Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Silky, I want to say, or maybe I always get the naming backwards because this packaging is so small. I'm not used to the labeling. Anyways, this is a really good powder. I would say that if you're somebody who has combination skin, I would say this is enough powder when you apply it that it will work. It would also continue to allow you to have a more skin-like finish. If you're somebody who is oily, I'm not sure if you can really pack this powder on enough that you'll really be kind of good to go for the rest of the day. But I will say, if you're somebody who's oily and you don't mind your oils kind of coming through after a certain point, it'll be fine. I also think this is light enough powder that if you have dry skin, it will not kind of hinder your skin and make you feel like your skin is very, very mattifying. I really think this is a nice powder. This would definitely be a powder that I would recommend for somebody who overall is just looking for a good powder at Sephora. Previously, I've only been able to recommend very few, so I definitely am happy that I was able to get my hands on that little sample by just putting in a code at Sephora. Don't sleep on those little codes. They really can be helpful. And yeah, if I incorrectly said the name or the shade or whatever, like I said, all of the items will be listed and linked down below. Now let's go ahead and jump into the eye products. There's not a lot, so let's get that out of the way, and then we'll do the meat and potatoes in the middle, which is going to be the cheek products. There's so many cheek products to talk about. Now when it comes to eyes, I have quite a few products. This is a lip product. So let's talk about the more linery type products. I have three. So one is from Victoria Beckham, and this is her Satin Kajal liner in the shade Sequence Green. I'm going to go ahead and swatch these for you guys as well, just so that you have kind of a reference point. This is a nice deep kind of jade shade liner. Very, very nice color. What I will say about this liner is that this is a very sophisticated liner, as I find a lot of the Victoria Beckham products are. And If I'm comparing this to like a full-on pigment eyeliner, this to me isn't it, but this is a sophisticated amount of coverage. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. The time that I showcased this in a video, I applied this on my lid because that's how I've seen a lot of people using these products on the lid. I thought it looked really, really nice. In the waterline, I think this is a tinge bit too subtle for me. So it really just depends. That said, in the waterline, it did fine. For me, I do have very inhospitable waterline. So it's very hard for a lot of it's very hard for a lot of pencils to really have a really, really long longevity. And so those are the gems that I generally like shout across the pond about. This one's just nice. It's nice. I liked it. I'm happy I got it. I think if there's a really, really unique color, yeah, I'd go ahead and pick it up. It wasn't too bad. And like I said, I'm able to finesse getting a discount on this particular product. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, would I recommend y'all to spend y'all money on it? I don't think so. This is kind of irrelevant because the brand is no longer, but just because I tested it out. This is from Makeup Geek. And what I will say is this is in black, by the way. This is a really good liner. Really good liner. I like it. I'm happy I got it. And, if we're, in a world this brand does come back, I definitely would say that that's a solid liner and you should definitely check it out. But like I said, it's no longer available, so I'm not going to talk too much. A product that is available, Kofi restocked the shade in Daydream on the Sephora website. I was stalking their page on the Sephora site because I really, really wanted this shade. I knew that this shade would be unique for my collection, and I already knew I was obsessed with the Kofi formula. And this is not unlike all of the others. I think this is a really great formula. I find that this is super saturated, opaque, and it really does last in my waterline. Kofi also has duos out for the holidays. So yeah, anyways, out of all three, I would definitely more so recommend the Kofi just because of my general aesthetic. And I think that the Kofi, just for, the wide range of people and the wide range of opinions, would work the best. But like I said, if you're somebody who is okay with something that can be more buildable or even more subtle in the waterline, that Victoria Beckham is really good as well. I've also been testing out quite a bit of just cream sticks, and so I have 3 to talk to you guys about today. So one is from ColourPop, and this is in the shade Honey, and this is a metallic, so keep that in mind. I will be talking about some that are metallic, some that are not. And so that first stripe is the metallic from ColourPop. Keep in mind, I do not particularly like metallic eyeshadow bases, and that is because I use these as bases. I don't particularly love using these types of products as inner corner highlights or brow bone highlights. I really don't do brow bone highlights very often. And as for inner corner highlights, I don't know what it is about cream shadows. I just don't like them particularly in the inner corner. So for this, in an actual product, I do like the actual product objectively, but in my use, I'm not going to get a lot of use out of it. I know it, so I'll put it to you there. One that I do intend to get quite a bit of use out of is this one, and this is once again a ColourPop shadow stick, but this is a matte shade. So this is in the shade Walnut Avenue Matte, and I got both of these from Ulta. That's the only reason, honestly, I picked them up. I absolutely love this matte formula. It's blendable, it's opaque, and it's really nice. That shade is deeper than my skin tone, but depending on how much I actually apply, I can kind of blend it in very, very easily to the point where that could be an easy no shadow look. I don't find that it dries down to like a matte finish, but I don't find that it's like so emollient that it's slipping and sliding all over my face. So if you're somebody who doesn't like a super matte base dry down, that could be an alternative for you, specifically with the matte. The shimmer, it's a shimmer. I find that dries down a little bit more harshly just because it's a shimmer and it's kind of use is to stay put, whereas the matte I think has a little bit more life to it and it's more of like a satiny kind of finish. Then we get the Fenty stick that I picked up, the shadow stick in the shade Come and Get It. So this has a different kind of tip. It's a more slanted application. So I find that that application actually allows for a slightly kind of more comfortable application, because you can then just kind of sweeper motion and the tip of the product isn't really fighting your eyeball. You know, some products that are just so dry and so opaque that you're like, you can feel it like jabbing on your eyeball. I don't find it on that. And this is the Come and Get It. And out of the two kind of more matte formulas, the Come and Get It is easily closer to my skin tone, but this dries down a little bit more matte. So this could be more of a traditional finish on a shadow stick. And so for that reason, I kind of do enjoy this a lot more, but I do think that the ColourPop is a decent alternative. And for somebody who necessarily literally wants this to be a one shadow look, that ColourPop could just continue to bring life to the overall face. And so it's not so stark if you have such a satin kind of base. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm going to choose one over the other. I think they are both good depending on, you know, what you like. If you had a gun to my head and you're asking me, girl, which one? I think I'm going to choose the Fenty just because I do tend to reach for my shade, my shadow sticks more for bases than for single eyeshadow looks. So I would reach for the ColourPop a little bit more, probably for more single shadow looks. But if I'm doing them for the traditional use that I use shadow sticks, which are for base, that Fenty is going to be it, just because that formula dries down a little bit more. And you can't really see it in this, but that's my opinions and I'm sticking with it. The last product that I'm going to talk about is another Asian Pacific Islander reviewed product, and this is the Visualistic Shadow. I reviewed the other one the last time and this one got lost in the sauce of the shadow of my review box. This does not have the name in it. Maybe it's Reddish Sunset. I'm sorry. This is a beautiful shade. Beautiful shade. It looks like it's a glitter in the packaging, but it's one of those pressed shimmery shadows. Easy shadow to just top off a look. You can make it look super opaque, or you can kind of just splash it over. I really like these shadows. I have 2 or 3 now. They're nice. I like them. I would recommend them. Okay, so we're now into the thick of things with the biggest category, which is cheeks. I had to bring out a bigger basket because that's how many products I had to talk about. And I figured let's just go ahead and get the biggest kind of product out of the way. And this is the Hourglass 2023 Holiday Palette. And as I said in both the review and the subsequent kind of application, I view these products in the ways that I like to apply them. I understand that, which ones are they? These two, I understand that these two are more so finishing products, but I like to use the Hourglass powders as actual setting powders, and I have been able to do that in previous volumes. So keep that in mind. I do think that the blushes are pretty. They're pretty, but are they anything to write home about? For me, no. The highlighter is really, really nice. And this is pretty much a face setting powder. But even then, it's a bit too sheeny. The worst one offender when it comes to sheeny is this. Absolutely do not use that as your under eye setting powder. I promise you, you will have a straight up sheen. So for me, I was disappointed in picking this up. I would not recommend it. I'm sure closer to the holidays, these will be available for 30% off. It didn't seem like this year they actually did the 30% off coupon closer to the launch like they did last year. So maybe they won't be doing that and I'll feel happy because I got the little stupid packaging. But in the grand scheme of things, not something that was worth it for me, and I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to see the application of all 6 of those powders in various methods and showing them side by side to other products that I have from Hourglass, I do have a video. Check her out. So I have 2 new duos from Patrick Ta. I picked up the warmer of the 2 cream cheeks that were in the pink range. This is She's a Doll. And then I also picked up one of his newer duos, which is She's Wanted. I really like both of these products. These are definitely some crazier colors for my kind of collection, and I like the formula. I like them. I definitely have tried both formulas, both cream and then powder, or as Patrick Ta says, powder and then cream. These are nice. These are nice. If you have tried a Patrick Ta duo, let me stop because it's not working. If you have tried a Patrick Ta duo and you're not getting the pigmentation that you want, specifically if you're of darker skin tone, I would strongly recommend you checking out the collection again, because if they are too light for you, they really won't show up. I've had that issue, but since I have now corrected and chosen shades that are actually, geared towards my skin tone, and they all work. So if there's a type of undertone or whatever that you're looking for, and you've seen it only in the lighter ranges, recheck out his range again. He's really padded out the darker range, and I find that now I can really find the types of shades that I enjoy in his range. So very happy to have those. I won't be picking up the holiday palette, just preference, not for me. Something that really took a couple of tries to get the hang of, this is the MAC Glow Play Blush in Heat Play. I think that this is a nice blush. This is definitely something that I would recommend for cream cheek blush beginners. It is really something that is buildable. You're not going to get a straight up opaque application very quickly, but the joy of this is that it does give like a powdered finish, whereas the Patrick Ta, definitely if you use either method, that cream is so glowy that you're really going to get a glowy cheek. This, you're really going to get more of a powdered kind of finish. So if you're somebody trying to get your toe into cream blushes, this is definitely a range that I would recommend. Is this a favorite for me? I prefer my cream blushes to just be straight up pigmented and for me to blend them out. The building up is a little much. It's a little much. A formula that you guys know I do not have to even, really talk too much about is this beauty right here. And this is the Half Magic shade in Don't Be a Doll. I want to say this is literally the last shade and that I have all of them. I love this formula. This is one of my favorite cream cheek blush formulas. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend. This is a beautiful color. I will still say though, my favorite color is still only Drama, just in principle. And I really do love Magic Brownie, which was the first shade that I picked up. So there is that. This is a cute shade. Not my favorite, but I'm happy to have it in my collection. I really, really love that formula from Half Magic. It appears I'm doing well at pulling cream cheeks, so we'll try to just only pull cream cheek blushes. Wait, cream blush. You get what I'm saying. Next product is from Rose Inc. And this is the shade Foxglove. And, I think this is fine. There's just something about this formula I just don't love. I will say in application method, I find that the best brush I have found is the one that I tend to use with all of my cream blushes. Brush is just really good at taking away excess sheen that I don't particularly want, and also ensuring that I get the color payoff that I do want. If you're looking for like a reference, I find that this is a little bit less shiny than the Patrick Ta, but the pigmentation level is less than Patrick Ta as well. So I find that I'm building up more to get what I want. And it's kind of very similar to what I was having an issue with the original shade I got with the Patrick Ta. That's it. Where I wasn't getting enough color saturation, so I felt like I had to build up, but in building up I was getting an overly dewy cheek and it was just not doing it for me. But this is the darkest shade I find, if my memory serves me correctly, from the range. And so that's my issue so far with the Rose Inc. I just find that I just haven't found a shade that really works for me, and so because of that, it just not something that I feel I really need to have. A second shade that I knew I was gonna love is from Danessa Myricks. I got this in the shade Jubilee from Beautylish. I was using my gift card from my previous gift card event. I love this. This is a neutral version of her shades. I really enjoy those. I now have two. Highly recommend those particular products. As it were, I'm apparently going to be dividing these products, even though I said I wouldn't. This is a product from YesStyle, and this is from Faculor, and this is in 05. This is a really nice cream blush. I find that this is a more moussey formulation. So even though it's in a cream packed, I have enjoyed using this both with a brush and with a sponge. Although once again, I do prefer my Angie Han Flashy brush, and it just applies a beautiful product. I will say that the finish is a little bit more kind of powdery matte. It's a little bit on the same realm as the MAC, but this gives a lot more saturation on initial application. I really like this product. I think I've looked back to see if they had any other shades that I was interested in. They just didn't, or they weren't in stock, something to that effect, but I would recommend that product. Something that I don't really love and I was really expecting to love is this Nude Sticks Matte. I don't know what it is particularly about this product. I think the actual product is just not as emollient as I'd want to either swipe on or to put on a brush, and that's what I would need with this type of product. I'm not the type of person that's going to warm it up on my fingers to apply, and then even then applying with the sponge, you're gonna get a lesser amount of color, and that's what I want. I want the color. I don't want to diffuse the color. So yeah, I don't particularly love this, and I really thought I was gonna love it. I've seen great things from the Nude Stick Matte range, specifically in this kind of packaging. I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that. If you found a way to make it work and you are somebody who likes a similar application to me, definitely let me know down below. So this is the Makeup Revolution cream blush in golden. This is pretty much a highlighter on my skin tone. There's very little pigment and there's a lot of sheen. So I've been applying this as a cream cheek topper, which is it's just too much. It's too much for me. I don't particularly like it. I don't find that it is useful. And I did get the dark bundle, so I will be talking about the other two products in just a second, but this is just not a favorite out of that bundle. Now, if we're talking about all of the formulas that I just talked about, I would say my favorites are going to be that Patrick Ta, the Danessa Myricks, the Half Magic, and the Focular. Those are the four that I would definitely talk about, and they all have their own thing, right? So the Focular you really get for an affordable price, and from YesStyle, the Danessa Myricks, not so affordable, but you do get that kind of more matte, and you're supporting a Black owned, independently owned brand to my knowledge. The Half Magic, it's just the formula, you know, it's the formula. And then if you want something that's more glowy, that's where you go in with that Patrick Ta. You also get the added bonus of having a matte powder in there that does something to you. Okay, I have two powder blushes to talk about very quickly, and then we will move off of the blush train. I have the Give Beauty blush in Honeymoon Phase, and then I also have the Half Magic or the Haus Labs blush in Lavender Blondie. So this is my third Half Magic blush, just so that you guys know. And this is my first Give Beauty blush. I like both formulas. They both give something different though. This Haus Labs, in my opinion, gives a more skin-like finish. It's just a little bit more for you. Whereas the Give is just kind of a unique matte formula, but I like that you get the two different shades. I will say, if I'm gravitating towards this palette, what I have done is this is my actual blush, and this is kind of like a blushy highlighter. I like using them both, but I just will not top this off on my skin tone. It will just look too jarring on top of this, but it can be a nice kind of subtle type highlighter as well. So I like both products. I'm not going to really rank either. I just will say that they are kind of meant for two different people, or for two different opinions, or kind of looks. They're not meant for the same look, so I can't really kind of compare them too much. I like them both. There is that. Okay, let's keep with the powder train and let's do bronzers. So I have my Pat McGrath bronzer, which I have in the shade Burnished Honey. I did pick this up when she released it for 30% off. Absolutely so happy to have this bronzer. It's a really beautiful yellow undertoned bronzer. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend. And another one I must say I do recommend is from MAC, and this is in the shade richer golden. This does have a golden undertone to it, so I actually really do enjoy it. I will say this has a stronger matte finish than the Pat McGrath. I find that the Pat McGrath bronzers or her powders in general just have a little bit more life to them, whereas this MAC is a matte. Okay, I didn't particularly like the undertones for the more shimmery version, that's why I didn't get them. I like both powder bronzers, both though, and very similar to the powder blushes. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna rank them because they truly are meant for two different people. Even though they're both powder products, I find that the MAC one is really going for those who like straight up matte, whereas the Pat is going for somebody who wants a little bit more life. If you're really forcing me to choose, I would choose the Pat. I just like that finish a tinge bit more and the undertone a tinge bit more. Now let's get into some cream bronzers. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is the Give Beauty Heat Wave. I want to say that there is at least one more shade in this range after this. I like this. I do. I find that this is quite cooler than I would like, but this powder really makes up for it. So as long as you're comfortable using both in the same application, you will really get a nice look. I will say this is definitely a warm undertone, reaching on that yellow, not reaching on that orangey red type situation, more to the orange than the red. So if that's not a type of undertone that you want, I would not recommend this duo, because that cream is really closer to a contour than a bronzer on my skin tone. But I do like the products and I definitely will get some use out of them. Then we have this Tresluce Beauty in the shade Deep. This is something I feel like nobody is talking about, but this is so unique and I really like it. It is a hard kind of putty in the pan, but it really applies beautifully. I have a favorite brush that I love from Sonia G. I love Sonia G brushes, and I don't see it, so I don't want to really hunt for it. I really like it. This is not something that is straight up super opaque though. This is definitely a lot more forgiving than some of the cream blushes, the cream bronzes that you'll see me talking about. I like it. I like it. I would recommend it. Undertone wise, not my favorite, but I really like the application and the product in general. I love the ingenuity. So for that, I like it. There's one more cream bronzer that I want to talk about, and it's this baby. This is the Revolution Goddess Cream Bronzer in the shade Dark. This is not all that dark, and that's my issue with this particular product. Otherwise, I actually like the product, but it's not dark enough. I really wish that they had a darker shade. Maybe they do and I just picked the wrong bundle, but this is not it, unfortunately. But I will say, between the three shades in the bundle, this is the one that I preferred the formula the most. Yeah. There is that. If I'm asking, which shade or which product out of these three cream bronzers I would recommend, I honestly would say the Give. I think overall most people would enjoy this product most, but I really do love the ingenuity from the Tresluce. It's just the undertone that's just not really giving me full on bronze, Last, I have three different highlighters to talk about. This is kind of, I don't want to say it's a powder, but it's a different type of situation. This is the Glitter Fleck Puck from Half Magic. Love this product. This is very much a sparkly highlighter. It has a very kind of cooling base to it though, so when you apply it, it can be applied like a cream highlighter. I would recommend applying it with your fingers, because otherwise the glitter is going to be stuck in your brush till kingdom come. Okay, but it has a cooling sensation when you're applying it. It blends out beautifully. I don't find I have any issues with it. I think it looks spectacular on me, and although I can understand why somebody would reserve that only for a festival look, I could see me honestly reaching for that year round. I will say I really do love the brand Half Magic, so I may be a tinge bit biased here, but I really do think that that is a great product. The other two are two kind of tube. We got the OG and then the dupe. So the Pillow Talk wand from Charlotte Tilbury in the shade medium. I picked this up because I don't know. I thought this was the right shade. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that I'm a very big liquid highlighter fan, because even this I don't really love. I just took a little bit of the product without opening up the packaging again. Biggest issue with the Makeup Revolution, really quickly, and then I will go back to Charlotte Tilbury. I can't get the thing open without unscrewing it. I don't like this packaging. The top is too tight for, I just don't like it. But just without unscrewing this again, this is lighter, the Makeup Revolution, and this is for the dark as well. And this is in the shade All Light. I do like the shade of the Charlotte Tilbury a lot better for my skin tone. I just don't believe that this type of formulation is for me. I don't particularly like liquid highlighters, so I knew that going in. I just really wanted to try it, and yeah, I think I'm good on liquid highlighters, specifically from Charlotte Tilbury and Makeup Revolution. But if I had to choose one between the two liquids, I would definitely choose the Charlotte Tilbury. But you know, on her own, I would love to recommend the Half Magic for a cream highlighter. Cream is separate from liquid, if you didn't know. Okay, 2 more baskets left, and these are smaller baskets. So we're getting to the end of things. Now we are on to lips. And for lips, like a lot of people, I have quite a few balms that I've been really attracted to and getting a lot of use out of. So that's going to be a majority of this basket. So let's get the balms out of the way. The first one I'm going to talk about is from YesStyle, and this is the honey milk one. I don't know if there's anything other than that. It's a lip oil. I don't particularly love this formula, but I think it's a decent formula. This isn't one that I find really sits on my lips for a long time. And so for that reason, this is one that I will get my use out of and then probably never repurchase. I also don't feel like my lips are really being super hydrated with this product. I think it's just kind of sitting over it, them looking cute. This could be something that I use more as a lip gloss instead of a lip oil, and there is a difference in my opinion. Something that does present as more of a lip oil or lip essence, as the name suggests, is this One Thing moisturizing lip essence. This, once again, I got from YesStyle. Absolute phenomenal. Love this. I've been missing this near my bed because it really seeps into your lips, and I literally feel this product still on my lips at the end or at the beginning of my morning when I wake up after putting this on before I go to sleep. I would really highly recommend this product if you're somebody like me who wants an actual lip oil that's going to penetrate your lips, make your lips feel nice and supple, and sit on your lips for a long period of time. Something that I think it's just not the move is this Glossier RoseBalm.com Universal Lip Solve, or just Universal Skin Solve. This is not something that I think I'm going to be using on my lips, for the pure fact that I hate the fact that I have to get my hands dirty to use this. It just doesn't make any sense for me. One way that I think now that I'm sitting here, I'm going to just use it up is I've been really wanting to do the slugging technique. And this, I'm sure, has some form of petroleum jelly in it. Just on the way that it feels on the lips, I feel like this is basically petroleum jelly. So I could use it in that way and try that technique to see if it's something that I really want to pick up in the long term. But for the lips, I mean, the product's fine, but I think it's as good as this, in my opinion. It's not really great at penetrating my lips and really, making everything great. It's fine. A lip oil I do like. Once again, not something that gives a lot of longevity, but I do like it for the context of a lip oil. Is from Juvia's Place. This is in the orange one, or sweet orange. I like it. I picked it up from Ulta. It's cute. It's a nice throw in the bag last minute to reach a certain minimum. Not something I'd say you have to run out to pick up. Okay, 2 of the lip oils that I left for last, once again, are some bangers. So we have the Huda Beauty Skin Balm. This one, I have in the shade Blush. This is my second tube of a lip balm from her. I previously had the icy version. I hated the icy contacts, but I love the balm contacts because this sits on the lips. Once again, this is another balm that I can go to sleep with it and still feel it on my lips in the morning. Those are the types of balms that I like. I like feeling that it's going to be around for a long term. I really would say that is more of a balm finish though than an oil. Oil in my opinion is a lot more glossy than that, but I still really like it. And another one that I really love is the Sunday Fridays. I've drank the Kool-Aid. I have this in the shade Vanilla Beige, and pretty sure I'm gonna be getting the trio that is available for holiday. Last time I checked, the evil thing was sold out, but I'm sure Sephora's holding some stock, hopefully, for the VIB sale, because I definitely want that trio now that I've tried that. I literally put it on as soon as I sat down to put my makeup on, and it felt like life. So if I had to recommend any, I would recommend these three. This one from Yes Style, which is the one thing, then the Sunday Fridays, and the Huda Beauty. Those are the three lip oil, lip balm type products that I would recommend. None of those are truly lip oils, but they all are a balm type finish that I truly enjoy, and they sit on your lips for a long time, which is my preference. I have one lip gloss, and this is from Fenty Beauty. This is in the shade Hot Chocolate. This is a beautiful product. This has a nice base of brown with an iridescent shimmer running throughout. I picked this up recently from the Fenty Beauty website when they had a 30% off sale as well. And I knew I loved the formula. I just thought I would like the color. The color was beautiful on me. Highly recommend that if you're somebody like me that likes some more brownie lip combo. That is definitely something I can see me applying over some of these more matte finishes or even satiny finishes, just to get a nice ba-boom on it. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't, but I like it. One of the mattes that I was talking about is this baby from House Labs. I could have sworn I already reviewed this, but maybe I didn't. This is in the shade Honey Matte. This is a shade that on site looks like it's too light for me, but applied in the way that I do with my lip liner, blends in beautifully, works beautifully, absolutely love it. It does have a yellow undertone, which is why I picked it up. On a lighter skin, I could definitely see that working even more without the lip liner aspect, but I like lip liners. I've been wearing them lately, so no big deal. I picked up two really good bullet lipsticks that I want to talk to you guys about. First, once again, Kofi coming in with the win. This is a stunning color on me. I don't see a shade on here, but this is a stunning color. This is the brown in the range. Absolute love. It's a nice satin finish, which I really like, and it's a little bit more satin than this. This one I want to say has a little bit more of a sheen to it, but they are very comparable. And this is the Kosas lipstick in Vegas. Very, very beautiful. I would say that the Vegas is definitely lighter than the Kofi, whatever the shade is, because like I said, I don't see the shade in the bullet. They are, I mean, you're splitting hairs here. You're definitely splitting hairs here, but I will say I prefer the shade of the Kofi just because it works a little bit closer to my skin tone. But they both have formulas that I am really coming to enjoy, and I could definitely see me getting more shades if they bring out shades that I enjoy looking at. A product that absolutely not, I would not recommend this. This is the Urban Decay Shake 'em Up, Shoot 'em Up, Crushing liquid lipstick. Absolutely not. I do not like this product at all. You shake it up, and what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get like a glossy liquid lipstick that's supposed to be able to sit. What I found is that this cracked. The gloss sheen was gone within like 5-10 minutes, which was just stupid. And then you're left with like a cracky liquid lipstick that just did not work for me at all. I know I've seen a couple people really like this. I've seen people hate it. I really went for it because the shade was just perfect for me to try this formula. I've tried it. I would not recommend it. You do with that what you will. Another product that I just would not recommend for the price, it just wasn't worth it, is this Valentino lip and cheek product in the shade Liquid. No, that's the type of product. Why don't brands put the names on the labels anymore. I don't know what the name of this is. I will have that down below. To me, this was not worth it. It's a beautiful liquid lipstick. Definitely would not say if you're my skin tone or deeper, use this as a cream. Absolutely not. As a liquid lipstick, it's beautiful. It works on my skin tone, but the applicator is just absolutely not. It's like a little piece of plastic. So you're literally feeling the piece of plastic as you apply. It doesn't pick up enough product for cheeks or lips. It's just not worth it. Beautiful color, beautiful swatches, which really drew me to the product. Absolutely not though. Out of that last grouping of products, I would just tell you to stick with either the Kosas or the Kofi. I'm a little, biased in choosing the Kofi. I've been enjoying a lot of their products lately, but choose whichever you prefer. And honestly, I like the color a little bit better too. So let's just say it officially. I would recommend the Kofi over the Kosas. There is that. Okay, last basket and then we are done. And this is the miscellaneous. So these are the products where I just had one or two in the category. So it didn't make sense to kind of wait to review a whole bunch because I just don't review a lot of these products. First things first, once again, the Makeup Geek mascara. This is another product that my friend sent to me, and I think this is fine. Nothing to write home about. So if Makeup Geek comes back, I would not particularly recommend this. I think this will be a good mascara to wear under lashes. If I'm actually just not wearing lashes and just using my normal lashes, I wouldn't love that mascara, but it's something that I could get through for my 3 months. Throw her away. Something that kind of I feel like went viral is this Real Techniques Miracle 2-in-1 sponge. I just don't particularly love it. So I feel like this was their version of the About Face sponge, which is also dirty. What I will say is that I hate this fuzzy side. I don't like it. I don't like how it applies powder. It just sits on top of my skin. It doesn't really push the product in. I don't like it. This side is fine. I just feel like it absorbs the product. So it's I'm not really getting any great results over either side. Easy pass for me. I would personally not recommend that product. Then we get this brow pencil from LYS. This brand did send this product to me, full disclosure, and this is in the shade dark brown. In the past, I have always associated more waxy pencils with the more pigmented formulations, similar to the ABH brow pencil. And although the NYX brow pencil is still very pigmented and not as waxy, I've just always made that association. Whereas this, I would not say is that, but it is quite pigmented. It is just a very unique formula, and I definitely could see me honestly repurchasing it. It's a great formula, great price tag, and that's what I like about the brand. They really have good formulas for a very affordable price, especially at Sephora. I mean, you honestly, in some cases, they're actually more affordable than the Sephora brand. So take that as you will. But like I said, I am affiliated and the brand did send me that particular product. Another product that I want to talk to you guys about is this Fixing Mist from Moni. Although I know the brand, it's McQueen. I always say Moni and it's never Moni. Anyways, this is an okay product. I don't find this to be highly raved about. I don't really like it. It's a product. It'll be a product that I use to set my makeup in an aspect, but finish wise and just application wise, is it a favorite? Is it something that I'm gonna rave about? No. Talk about this LYS setting spray. So this is their natural finish skin loyalty blur mattifying and setting mist. I'm not going to talk about the blurring because I really don't have any perspective on that. I never look for that for any of my products. If they even classify it as being blurring, I really just don't look for it. The mattifying in the set though, I do want to talk about. So this states previously that it is a natural finish, and I really want to target in on that. So this product, if you have something that, if your face like mine sometimes can look a little bit more powdery, or you use a combination of powder and creams, and the creams and the powders have just not married together. This product to me does not have enough glycerin in it to really get those products to marry. So this is not something that I would recommend to somebody in that step or in that part of your routine. For me, I do use setting sprays all throughout my application. And so when I want a product to really marry in, specifically a powder to marry with a cream, right now I'm reaching for this. Unfortunately, this product is no longer available, and honestly, the writing is no longer there. I want to say this is from Mana Kadar, and this was their oil control mattifying mist. This puts out so much product, and the product is just so saturated in those hydrogen molecules. Wow, that was a nerdy reference. It is just so wet that for me, once it gets on my skin, it really does help for that powdery finish or that powdery effect to go away. Like I said, it helps those powders to really marry with the creams. But my finish though, the finish of this is great. And so if you're somebody like me who will use a product like that in the midst of setting your spray, of setting your face, and then at the end you still want something to truly set your makeup, this is what I would say. And I think the longer I've been using makeup, the more I see those nuances in what a product can do. So for example, this is an equivalent right now in my collection to a MAC Fix Plus. Fix Plus has never touted that it was a setting spray, but people used it to marry those powders and the creams together. And then what they would do is they would get their Urban Decay or their whatever, and then they would set their face. And so this is what that is. This is a setting spray. So I like this. I like that it gives a more natural finish, and I truly do feel like my skin looks a little bit more natural in instances where it may have looked a little bit too matte for my preferences previously. So there is that. I would definitely choose the LYS over the McQueen. I picked up the LYS setting spray, I'm pretty sure. So there is that. If you want to shop through my affiliated links or codes associated with certain brands and websites, I always have that listed down below as well. We're finally done. We're done. So many products that I talked about today. I always say that I'm not going to wait until I get to this point again to do another roundup, and I always do. But I hope that these videos are really nice and cohesive, and especially now that I'm doing this video pretty much right before the Sephora sale, I really hope that this was helpful for you guys, especially if you were interested in picking up some of these products right for the sale. I will be doing a video on Friday all about the sale, talking about my recommendations, talking about the products that I potentially will be picking up. So do stay tuned for that. But with that said, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a long one, but I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. So really quickly guys, I just wanted to show you guys the swatches that are still on my hand. And out of all those eyeliners, that's the Kofi, baby. That's the Kofi. That's one of the ColourPop. This is the ColourPop, and this is the Fenty Beauty. So some of these products really, they stick around. I did just use a microfiber towel to just wipe off what I could, but I just felt like it was important. And then this is also, I will say, the Makeup Revolution highlighter. It definitely stuck around longer than the Charlotte Tilbury, but you know, I still didn't like the formula. It is like that. It's cement. So yeah, I just wanted to jump on here real quick and show you guys those because I thought that was interesting. Like I said, I'll see you guys on Friday.